to my latest video. This one's going to be slightly different than my usual. I'm not going to be talking about coding and data today. I'm just going to talk about actually what everybody else seems to be talking about right now, which is the outcome of the Champions League positions in the Premier League. We know it's going to be a pretty exciting day tomorrow, watching the outcome of that, and my team Aston Villa are in the mix. So I'm just going to look at the matches and outcomes that I think they will probably end up. So let's look at the league positions. Man City sitting third, Newcastle fourth, Chelsea, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest. Man City just basically need a point to guarantee their Champions League for next season, but you know, there is a possibility if they were to lose at Craven Cottage that they could actually end up missing out if Newcastle, Chelsea and Aston Villa all win. Newcastle are home to Everton, Chelsea very difficult fixture away to Forest, and Aston Villa away to one of their bogey teams, Manchester United, who have had a terrible season by all standards. But as a Villa fan, you know never to take that fixture for granted. So first off, we're going to look at the Manchester City and Fulham game. First, we're going to look at some of the percentile rank of some of the stats for both teams this season. As you can see, City, even though they're away from home, they're pretty high on the shots on target and expected goals. They certainly outpass teams majority of the time. They create a lot of shooting and goal opportunities. But let's have a look at their home and away tables. So Fulham being at home, they were 10th highest. They've actually got more points away from home this season, just 26 at home, 28 away. But we do know Craven Cottage can be a difficult place to go play for some teams. Manchester City playing away, they've taken 26 points with 1.44 points per game, the same as Fulham have taken at home. I would expect Man City to at least get their point, but I do also expect a shock this weekend. I'm not sure where that will fall, but could it be at Craven Cottage, and could they dump Manchester City out of the Champions League? I'm going to go for a draw in this game, possibly favouring a Manchester City win, but Fulham don't have really much to play for, so I'm sure they're going to take up one of the spots, but I would love it if they were to miss out. The next game we're going to look at is Newcastle versus Everton. If we look at this particular radar, we can see that Newcastle, and from their league position, we know they've had a better season. They do create a lot. They're pretty successful on free kicks. Their goals per shot is very, very high. I know Isak is back in training. How fit he'll be and ready to go, is in doubt at the moment. I'm sure he'll play some part, especially if some way Everton do take the lead. Everton have had a season in recovery. Moyes has done a tremendous job since he's taken over and is moving them up the table. I don't see him wanting that to drop off, so I don't think he's just going there to make up the numbers. I'm sure he's going to push his team to come out with a victory. Another potential shock on the cards, but with Isak back, I'm expecting Newcastle to get through in this game by a couple of goals and cement their position in the Champions League next season. Again, if we look at Newcastle at home, they've been the 6th highest in the league. Everton, they've done decent, and again, I'd say the latter part of the season they've done very well. So they're sort of somewhat in form. They're playing reasonably well, but I still expect Newcastle to get the points that they need and possibly even overtake City. We'll move on to the really big game that I expect for tomorrow, and that's Nottingham Forest at home to Chelsea. Forest have been a team that have exceeded their own expectations. They've had a great season, cemented Europe in some way next season. They were looking top 4 for a very, very long time, but then they've dropped away dramatically this last couple of months or so. I mean, and the main thing is, I mean, Forest are a team that have played on the counter. They've sat back a lot, and they've hit a lot of teams on the break, and this game could suit them. They're at home where they're pretty solid. They're strong. If we look at their table, Forest are 7th in the league table if it was just based on home results. Chelsea are below mid-table, and they're a finicky team. They certainly can have games where they look like they're highly paid stars. They are, but other games they look extremely poor. Jackson is out, suspended, so that could be crucial going into this game. I'm actually expecting Forest to take something from this game. Could they take 3 points very, very easily? I think they could do that. They've got a plus 11 goal difference at home. Just Chelsea have only got a plus 3 away. But Chelsea are a very compact team at the moment. They have been playing well, but I still expect Forest to take a point at least from this game, and that would, certainly open up the opportunity for Villa to possibly grab that last spot in the Champions League. So yeah, I'll go with Forest for a draw here to take something. They could even possibly win the game. So the last game in the mix is Manchester United at home to Aston Villa. Now, if you look at this right eye, you'd possibly think that Manchester United could be the team higher in the league and fighting for the Champions League spot, but they've been poor. They've been terrible, and losing the Europa League final in the week wouldn't have helped them any. There's certainly grumbles in the camp. Will Garnacho play tomorrow? Will Amorim push him out there and say, if you want to go sell yourself on the TV screen at the highest level? So that could certainly fire him up, and on his day he's an exciting and very, very good player. Has caused us problems before. I'm a little nervy over this. Again, another game that I could very easily see this going into a draw. Aston Villa's results at Old Trafford haven't been good in the last I don't know how many decades, but it's been very, very, very poor. On paper and on form, we're the better team. We should possibly win the game by a couple of goals, and I think if we get a goal early, I think we'll go on and win it, possibly by 3 or 4 goals. I don't think United will have the fight left in them, but if they take the lead, it could be a very, very long 90 minutes. I expect Emery to be patient and probably try and take the game in the second half. On a team, I hope he plays Mings. I think we need a leader tomorrow. Torres hasn't been too bad in the last few games he's played, but I think we need that leader on the park tomorrow to push this team through to victory, which, even if we win, it doesn't guarantee Champions League, especially if Chelsea takes the win at Forest. But I think they're going to need to win Aston Villa tomorrow to take it. So I guess I'll let my heart rule this decision and say they will. My head is saying it's going to go to a draw. So my conclusion will be that it'll end up as Man City, Newcastle, and then Aston Villa taking the 5th spot and finishing in 5th, with Chelsea and Forest missing out. Now, I'd be very happy for Villa if that's the case, but if we don't, I still think we've had a great season. I think we've, you see how Newcastle faded when they had Champions League. We got to the quarterfinals, did well in the FA Cup. Points tally is very, very similar to last season, so I think we've we've done extremely well with the extra pressure put on the squad. There's some games there we possibly should have won. The Ipswich games are gonna, the ones that could come back and bite us, or that last minute goal against Manchester City recently. But whatever happens, Villa's had a great season, proud of the team, and I'm sure Emery's already looking forward to next season and what players he's going to bring in and what players he's going to sell. But a lot of that will ride on the results tomorrow. So sit back, enjoy the games tomorrow, and I hope you enjoyed this video and have a wonderful day. Bye for now.